So obviously this mountain lion wasn't found locally, but a lot of our more exotic animals were donated from places like the Birmingham Wildlife Conservation Park, where all other local zoos. Yeah, when one of their animals died of natural causes, they'd give the body to us and we'd preserve it for our collection. As well as sort of local wildlife, we've got some spectacular specimens from different parts of the world. This is part of a collection of butterflies and moths that was collected in Papua New Guinea, mostly by one family of collectors, the Pratts, a father and two sons, who went out there and made their living by collecting natural history specimens and sending them back to England. And various wealthy collectors here would pay them for their specimens. These are quite interesting because coming from such remote parts of the world, there are still very few people have gone out to these particular places and collected in them, so they're quite scientifically interesting from that point of view. So here I've got some of our entomology collection from Birmingham museums. These are examples of a few insects that you might be able to see out now if you go into your garden. Particularly ones to look out for are these bee flies. So they look a bit like bees. They've evolved to mimic bees to avoid being eaten by predators. But they've also got a very long proboscis at the front that they use for getting nectar from different plants. They're also actually parasites of bees, so one good place to look for them is where mining bees are nesting, and you'll often find them hanging around there looking for them. A piece that I think particularly nice are these fossils of an ichthyosaur that was found in Shipston on Stour in Warwickshire. The rest of the skeleton is on display at Think Tank Museum, but these are some of the parts that didn't quite fit in when we reconstructed the skeleton. This is the biggest example that we know of its species. Most ichthyosaurs are preserved as flattened specimens, so many of the ones you'll have seen in museums have been crushed and flattened as they were preserved as fossils. But this one is very rare as it's a 3D example. It was actually excavated by museum staff in the 1950s, so that's also a nice link to the history of the collection as well. And yeah, they spent a long time digging it out of a hole in a farm in Warwickshire and assembling all the parts. As you can see, each bone was broken into hundreds of different fragments when it was found, so it was a huge task to reassemble all of the different parts and make it into a sort of a usable skeleton. This place is absolutely fantastic. I love working here. It's such an amazing collection. It contains this thousands and thousands of specimens that are an absolutely unique archive of the natural history of the region. It's been assembled by local naturalists over years and years, and is really important to enable us to understand how the nature of the region has been changing over time.